welcome to RC Video Reviews. In this OpenTx snippet, I'll show you how to delay and slow servo travel. On a real plane, when you deploy flaps, they don't just go instantly from the stowed position to takeoff and then to landing. That's just not the way it works. They go slowly, and the reason is because you're changing the aerodynamic properties of the plane. So on an RC plane, we don't want it to behave any differently, but if you put your flaps on a switch like I have here on SA, right here on the top left, and you set up a normal servo output, that's exactly what you get, is the servo will just travel instantly to the position you commanded. So that's the 50% mark or takeoff position, and here's the 100% mark or landing position. Let's slow that servo travel down so we don't get nasty ballooning properties when we deploy our flaps. For this particular example, I've got my flaps on channel 5, I'm using the SA switch to control the flaps, and I've got a weight at 100% and a label called flaps. Let's go ahead and edit the mix. Before we manipulate servo travel, I want to explain a few things about the way this particular arrangement is working. So notice I've got an offset of 20%. The reason for that is I'm using offset to control my flap arrangement on the plane. I'm just using offset to mimic the concept of parking my flaps in the up position. So if your flaps are a little too low or a little too high while they're parked, you can use offset to correct that. So I'm going to use an offset of 20, and that gets my flaps flat with the plane. The other thing that I want to point out is don't get too hung up on this delay up and delay down. The way this particular servo is working and the way my weight is working and my outputs are working, in this particular setup, when I move my SA switch down, the radio actually thinks that's up. It doesn't really matter. We just have to understand what the radio believes is up and down. So this is mechanically the way I want it to work. So next thing I'll do is go in my delay field. And I'm going to use a delay of 2 seconds just to exaggerate the delay so you can get a good eye on it. So in delay up, I'm going to put in a delay of 2 seconds. And now I'll deploy the flaps. You see how it took that 2-second delay? I'll move them up and there's no delay. I'll do a click down and we'll count to 2. 1001, 1002. So that's how you do a delay down. You can also do a delay up if you want. So if you want to slow the flaps on the way up, we can do that too, just by putting in whatever delay makes you happy. I'll use 2 seconds for this example. Now I'll click up and we'll count 2 seconds. 1001, 1002. There we go. There's a delayed reaction on servo outputs. You can also use tricks like this for things like gear sequencing combined with edge switches. We might talk about that later. All right, now that we've got our delay worked out, let's slow the deployment of the servo. So I'm going to add a 2-second delay for that as well. No, actually, I'm going to add a 5-second delay. So we'll get it nice and slow. We'll also slow the retraction of flaps using a 5-second curve. This is going to be very slow. So here we go. I'm going to click the down button. And look how nice and slow that is. Isn't that nice? Now you can deploy flaps and it'll have a more scale appearance and effect on the plane. And here's retraction to the middle position, 2-second delay, and then a 5-second curve. And then here's a retraction to the up position, 2-second delay and a 5-second curve. There you go. Now you know how to delay actuation and slow down the movement of a servo on OpenTx. I hope you found this OpenTx snippet video useful. If you did, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. That's all I've got for today. Take it easy. Hey, if you like the work I do here on RC Video Reviews, please consider joining me on Patreon. For about the price of a cup of coffee, you can help me keep making videos just like this one. If you'd like to help out, there's a link in the description and on your screen.